Hello everybody and welcome to a very special video that I'm actually excited to record today. So Eric and I, we've been playing Game of Thrones the card game 2nd edition on the channel for the past few months. It's been a while since we've actually played in person because of Christmas and all that. However, we were reached out to by, the website is Game of Thrones Cards. They make custom expansions to further, to basically keep this game going. And this is run by some people who call themselves the GOT, the Global Operations Team, and the Design Team, the DT. And they are continuing to make content for this game now that Fantasy Flight Games has canceled it. Or put it on ice, so to speak. It's not like nothing's ever officially dead. It's like a comic book, The GOT also, their mission with this is to keep the game balanced and to organize events on the national, regional, and world stage. There are a variety of expansions that we're going to be talking about over the next few weeks. We're starting with the first one today, which is called Redesigns, which you can see just down below us. The Redesigns are redesigns of cards that exist within the actual game itself. And this is actually part of the list of cards that is illegal in this new format, which all the redesigns replace the originals, and also certain cards from the Things We Do for Love, except for the agendas, are also gone from this list. There's a list down in the description. Yeah, Eric's sad because there is one of the cards that that they always ruin my day with in that one.
Because it's too strong. Let's be real.
It's the one that when you lose a challenge, you get to remove all copies of them from their hand, deck, and play, and they're discarded. So they're not even it's just what the heck? They're basically killed. But you can find a link to both the website and also this list and a bunch of other stuff down below, which I'm going to get to. All these cards are also on ThronesDB. If you're looking to get into this game, this is a great way to, I'm going to be real. I'm going to be upfront right now. Unless you're printing them at home on your own printer, sliding them in sleeves, custom printing cards through websites like Make Playing Cards is expensive. It's not cheap. It is actually pretty pricey, and the shipping is also pretty expensive. However, this is a great way where you do not need to compete with the demand or the unavailable that some of these products might have out there on the market. So while it isn't cheap to print all these things, it is a great way to expand your collection to the game without having to hunt stuff down. A big thing of what they do with these expansions, we're not going to see it in this redesign one. As I said, there's a bunch of other expansions that we're going to be talking about in the next coming weeks. They expand on a bunch of unfinished themes that exist in the actual game. House Harlaw, Red Wine, The Seven, and many others. And there also is a link down in the description to their website, links to where they can print the card files, and then also a Discord if this kind of thing interests you. That would be a great way to, keep in the know. In addition, there also is going to be a link down below to help, if you want to support this beyond just the printing of cards, to their, help them pay for art. Because all of these cards have original art as well, and that ain't cheap, and anything counts. Lastly, after all of these are going to be going up on Mondays for this foreseeable future, but when we are through it all, Eric and I are going to be playing with these cards with decks built for us by the GOT and the design team, the DT, and it should be pretty fun. But that is kind of all the information you need to know. We're going to go through, and today we're looking at the redesign, so I'm going to read the cards, and then I also, for the ones that I had them, because there's some I don't have, I have all the originals here too, so we can actually compare what changed between this and the redesign, because that is actually pretty relevant. So, we're starting with Selyse Baratheon. This is a 4-cost character. It has the Eye and the Crown, 3 power. It's Baratheon, House Florent, Lady Queen R'hllor. Reduce the cost of the first R'hllor attachment you marshal each round by 3. In the original version, this is the fun game. Try to find the difference. This is like a spot the difference challenge. Reduce the cost of it's each versus first. So this one was the first. So this one's now just the first. The original was just each R'hllor attachment.
Ooh, yeah.
So that's obviously a big change. It turns from what you can play multiple things at a reduction of 3 to only 3. So this thing now, instead of providing 9 gold worth of value, only provides 3 a turn, which is pretty big.
Yeah.
That's a big change. So that's an easy change. So yeah, I imagine these ones are going to be pretty quick as we get through them, especially for cards that we haven't played a bunch of. Oh, no, you can keep yours in a separate pile. That's
I
all
will
good.
keep mine in a separate pile.
I guess I should also talk about quickly comparing the backs of the cards. So they do have a different back as well. So you're going to need to play. So this is the original. This is the new version. So you are going to want to have sleeves if you're going to be using with cards that are actually already in your collection. Notably, too, the front sides are a little bit different. So you can see, like, especially on the gold symbol, you can kind of see that there's a little bit of a difference between those. But otherwise, the cards look and feel like Game of Thrones cards. So that's nice and simple.
I'm already liking the balance that we're seeing on this, though.
Yeah.
Like, I'm already liking that thought put into economy, because this game lives and dies so heavily on economy. Another thing to know is, like, as Justin said, we are very new to this game.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the GOT team to watch these videos and be like, oh, we got to dumb down these decks.
That would be really funny. Next one here is we got Victarion and Greyjoy. This is a 7-cost character with a sword and a crown, 7 strength. Captain Ironboard Lord. Challenges action, kneel a worship location to stand Victarion and Greyjoy, limit twice per phase. Challenges action, kneel a worship location to either choose a kneel location or Victoria Greyjoy gain renown until the end of the challenge. The actual official version is very different. Just a lot of a different kind of structure for the cards. So this one is kneel a worship, choose one. So basically...
So first off, how many limits per phase does the original have?
None. So it looks like it's basically limiting the choose. It's limiting the choose to stand him. So yeah, it's limiting to stand him, which kind of makes sense. So you can only stand him once, but with this one you could stand him multiple times. Once again, it's just like basically just seem to be stopping the kind of degenerate kind of combos that could come from it. That's all very easy. All right, you're on Crow's Eye, sorry, 6 cost, every icon. I've been reading a little bit of like the forums trying to learn more about this game. And, they always are like, every icon's good, which makes sense because they can do everything.
Yeah.
So, for strength, while you control another raider character, he gains Intimidate. His reaction is after he enters play, either put a worship location into play from your hand, or search your deck for silence and reveal it and add it to your hand and shuffle your deck. So this one is Intimidate. Okay, so this guy just has Intimidate printed on him. So that's a straight up thing. And then after you marshal, this one is after he enters play, not even, so this one is enters play, the original is marshal. So a little bit of a difference there, but also like not having Intimidate unless you control another raider. Puts it into play.
But I mean,
notably, this one adds silence to your hand. This one puts it into play. So you have to also pay for silence with the new version, the redesign.
And for 6 gold for a character with every single icon, with a possible Intimidate, with a reaction that can bring something into play, yeah, I see the difference on this too. I see the value.
Yeah. All right. We got Nighttime Marauders. These guys are 4 and Shadow. They have a sword and a crown, 3 strength, pillage, Shadow 3. Reaction, after an enter comes out of the shadows during the challenges phase, choose a card in an opponent's discard pile. That player reveals their hand and discard it from each card. Discard from it each card with the same printed cost as the chosen card. So this one, still pillage, still Shadow 3. After it comes out of shadows, choose a card in an opponent's hand. In the discard pile. That player reveals his or her hand, discards from it each card with the same printed cost as the chosen card. Comes out of shadows. Okay, so now it's during challenges. After it comes out during challenges.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm not too sure with my small, tiny brain what the difference between that is.
I think it just limits when you can get value out of the shadow trigger.
Because if you look at it like Magic the Gathering, right? Like, the later you do something, the better with instants. Maybe it's the same thing with this.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Well, and I can't remember. With Shadow Trigger, is it possible to play it when you're technically going into the...
Yeah, so we've never done it correctly, but you can do shadows. I think it's any action window.
Then I could see a big value in being able to play Shadow if you don't need them after the challenges phase before you declare who's got...
Dominance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then if that came in with Dominance, you're eliminating a player's entire hand before you start.
I suppose what that
turn.
also does, though, it means that if there's any challenge actions in their hand, those now do nothing for Dominance. Potentially, yeah. No, I think that's a good guess.
Do you think it's 3 strength? Because there's 3 of them?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Now that's easy. That's easy. All right, I know this card. I know this card. Drowned Disciple.
This card.
3 cost, Crown, 3 strength. After character enters play from your dead pile, choose a Drowned God character and have it gain 1 power, max twice per phase. Alright. So, the real one is after Drowned God enters play from your dead pile, choose a Drowned God character and have it gain 1 power, limit twice per phase. This is max twice per phase. Is there a difference? Am I going crazy? Am I not seeing a difference here? Enters play from your dead pile. Choose a Drowned God character and have it gain 1 power, max twice or limit twice.
This is a great example. If GOT happens to watch this and wants to post something in the comments about the importance of the difference in that term, because I'm sure there's got to be a reason why max twice per phase is better than limit.
Yeah, it's a character enters play from your dead pile. Choose a Drowned God character and have it gain 1 power. Yeah, otherwise the text seems to be the same.
Yeah.
Still 3 cost, still 3 strength. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Well, maybe it's an updated wording.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
But there is a max and a limit on this one. This one actually has max as well. This is another card that Eric has never let me play. Eric's always discarded it from my hand.
I hate this card.
All right. 3 cost, Drowned God Fanatic, Sword and an Eyeball, 2 strength, action. Kill a Greyjoy character you own and control to put Drowned God into play from your dead pile. Interrupt when the effects of that's max once per round, by the way. Interrupt when the effects of an opponent's triggered character ability would initiate, discard Drowned God Fanatic from your hand to cancel those effects. So this one, from what I can see already from the differences, I'm pretty sure this one, it's just kill a character. So this one has to be a Greyjoy character that you own and control. Which I think is a good thing because it kind of fits it more into the niche of the Drowned God Greyjoy thing.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And is the interrupt still the same?
It seems to be. When a trigger character would initiate, it says, you have to discard it from your hand. It's placed from your hand, so that looks like just updated wording.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right. We have the Raider from Pike. This is a 2 cost sword character with 2 strength and Raider. Each item or weapon card in your hand with a printed cost 0 or higher gains ambush X, where X is the card's printed cost. Notably, this seems to actually kind of be buffed and a little bit. So the official one is each weapon card in your hand gains ambush X. So now there's weapon and item and a printed cost of 0 or higher. So it looks like this one actually got more.
I support that because like hearing the original, I'm like, I'm never going to play enough weapons to value that. But an item actually kind of opens up the field a bit.
Yeah, interesting. All right. Iron Mines. I played this card a lot too. So 1 cost location. Interrupt. When a character would be killed, if it is not the plot phase, kneel and sacrifice Iron Mines to save that character. All right. So notably, this one is just when a character would be killed. So this one is outside the plot phase. So the Iron Mine will not save people from Valar Morghulis and stuff other things that might kill them. I think Valar Morghulis says can't be saved. I could be wrong. But, and you also have to kneel the Iron Mines now.
Which I like because that stops sort of that almost magic tempo of like, well, okay, I'll do something that will kneel location first and then I will sack it.
Yeah. That seems like a good change as well. And then we have I don't have room for this.
Couldn't you slide it over a little? Oh no.
Yeah,
oh no.
That's okay. That's okay. We take Westeros. This is a 5-9-1, so 5 gold, 9 initiative, 1. What's that claim? Claim. 6 reserve value. Plot deck limit 1. Challenge action. Kneel a Raider character to choose a location with a lower printed cost and a discard pile and to put into play under your control. Limit once per phase. And this is when revealed, choose a location and a discard pile and put into play under your control. So this is now a challenges action. Notably, it's limit once per phase only in the challenges action. But I think what this does is it allows you... I think this just like kind of opens it up a bit more. It's less like... Because like that's as opposed to the when revealed, it kind of like once again like the upgraded Euron Crow's Eye, it kind of demands you to have raiders and kind of like fit into that raider deck a bit more, right? So this is not just something that you'll put in a Greyjoy deck. This specifically lives in a Greyjoy raider deck.
I also like that it is because that one said when revealed, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Whereas this is an action, which means if it's not advantageous to you but you've chosen it, you can choose not to act on it, which I think is actually a bit of a positive.
Yeah. All right, we're on to the Lannisters now.
Because I keep getting murdered by my when revealed abilities that I don't think about.
It is true. That does happen. That does happen. All right, we got Taena Merryweather. This is a 3-cost, 2 strength, eyeball and a crown companion lady from the Lannister faction. Reaction: after you play an event, choose and discard 1 card from your hand to draw a card, limit once per phase. That's a great ability, and I think they just put a limit on it. Yeah, they just put a limit on it, limit once per phase.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Lannister's already strong.
All right, this one I don't have a copy of. So this one is the Red Keep. This is a 4-cost location, King's Landing. Gives you +1 gold. And when the effects of an opponent's triggered character, location, or attachment ability would initiate, kneel the Red Keep and pay 1 gold to cancel those effects. That's gotta, what is the difference on that one?
That's insane.
All right, when the effects, which would kneel, cancel those effects. So this one is when the effects, so what's different?
You pay a gold.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Which is a weakness, but I actually like it.
I know, and I think that's a good change too, because I do know that there's cards that, this is about the rate. It's 1 gold to, pay for those cards, but you're not losing a card on this one. But you are playing 4 up front.
Yeah.
But in theory, this card, as it is printed in the redesign, is giving you the gold to pay for its ability each turn.
I also like it too because for me as well, thematically, it's a very Lannister thing. I like that they're adding that cost to it.
Yeah. No, I think that feels good. All right. Desert Raider. We're in the Martells. There's not many of the Martells, actually.
No, there isn't. There's 4.
Yeah. So Desert Raider is a 2-cost sword, ally, House Dane Raider from the Martell house. Prized 1. I don't know what the prized keyword does.
I don't remember.
Yeah, no, that one is gone.
I'm the Martell player, and I don't remember.
I think prized is just a everyone type thing. Prized. Excuse me, why do I have so many of these tabs open?
There are so many red keeps open right now.
Ah, no, I see. Yeah. Okay, rules reference. All right, look at prized. So it's prized. When a character location with prize will leave play, each opponent of that card's controller gains X power for their faction.
That's nice.
So yeah, there was 1 card you played with prized. There was that really tough one from the Things We Do for Love expansion that you killed something. I want to see if I can find the card for reference. But it's basically, I think, a balancing mechanic. The idea of the card is that it's a balancing mechanic for cards that are powerful, right? Yeah, this Prince Loyalist, which is when the effects of a triggered character ability would initiate, pay 2 gold to cancel those effects. And this guy's stealth and immune to events. So strong character, and prized, I think, is just kind of there to give it a downside.
Yes.
Notably, this guy doesn't have prized. The official version. So that's an easy change right off the bat. Reaction. After you lose a challenge, put Desert Raider into play from your dead pile to choose a character controlled by the winning opponent. Until the end of the phase, that character loses an eyeball or a crown, and Desert Raider gains that icon. Looks like it's the same text on this, except that this one, that character gains 1 power.
Yeah.
So the prized was moved from the ability onto that. That's what I seem to notice is the change.
Which, in a way, I think actually makes this card a stronger card. Because it's going to trigger less often. Yeah.
Interesting. Because, with this one now, it's if he leaves play. So it's kind of but you don't need to, it's kind of front-loading it a little bit.
Yeah.
However, if he's already in your dead pile, if you find ways to kill him, you're not actually paying the power when he comes back. So it's kind of it changes when the value of that power can come into play.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
All right. Once again, we're just 2 people who've played probably 8 games theory crafting. So, but really, this is, I imagine, a lot of people who are really in franchise likely know about this. And if you don't, this is a great time to find out about it. But if you're like us and you just got into Game of Thrones and you're looking to know more, you might be coming in why would I want these cards? And this could be a good way to kind of figure that out.
Oh, 100%.
We got Dorne! This one's I hate Dorne. So 4-cost Dorne. After you lose a sword or crown challenge, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, add 1 to your hand and place the other on the bottom. This one is an easy change. The official one is just a challenge.
Yeah.
So this one now, if they lose an intrigue challenge, they don't get the thing, which I think is a great change.
I think that's a phenomenal change as the Dorne player because you've already got so many ways to get ahead by losing. It's nice to be able to have the other player play against you.
And what I also like about it is that it if they lose the eyeball challenge and they discard a card, this basically just cancels the effect of that challenge,
Yes.
right? And this now means that you actually have there's a downside to losing eyeball challenges.
That's actually a really good point, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great...
But it's also good for a Dorn player because now I know when I put this in there, I have a good sense of what you might prioritize, which is actually useful knowledge for me.
Yeah, well, that's cool. All right, we got Doran's Game. This is a 1-cost event. After you win an eyeball challenge by 5 or more strength, gain X power for your faction until a maximum of 5. X is the number of plot cards in your use pile, max 1 per challenge. So this one looks like they just put a maximum of 5 on it.
Yeah.
Which seems kind of fair.
Very fair. Because I haven't played it much. I think you built a deck that was more...
I played it once.
But the Doran decks are already really strong and can already do wild things when it comes to building their artificial plot pile.
Yeah, 'cause I actually have the deck here. 1 second.
Yeah.
Let's just see how big my card is. Mm-hmm. Like, I understand, like, you can kind of see it coming, but the thing is, if you don't have it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this could get me 9 power with the official version, but only 5 with this.
Yeah.
Like, you can play around it and see it coming, but now this basically means that valve is a little bit less big.
Well, and there were cards in your deck. There are cards in the Doran deck, too, that actually artificially increase the number of... They have a virtual plot card that they add to the pile by 2 or 3 or 4. So, like, with the card prior, you could almost win the game on a single card alone. Mm-hmm. And it's nice that that's less swingy. Because Dorn already has enough ways to just be like, I win now.
All right, a mission in Essos. This is a Shadow event, Shadow 0. Return... So notably, this one's actually Shadow 2. Mm-hmm. So return a Martell character you control to your hand, then search your deck for a character with a low printed cost that shares a trait with the character and put into play. Shuffle your deck. That's really cool. This one is very different. This seems to be like a full redesign from top to bottom. So this one is remove all but the bottom card of your deck from the game face down, then shuffle your discard pile into your deck and draw 3 cards. So like this one is like they just like completely changed it. Which, I mean, makes sense. Effects like this can be very degenerate, but also effects like this can also do nothing. Yeah. So, like, I actually don't know enough about the game to know which one this fix is. If this fix comes from it was too degenerate or the fact that the card did absolutely nothing.
So, as a player who loves my bastards, this is actually really
it's a nice
strong.
Change. It is. It has a reason to be played.
Especially for Shadow 0 and... returning a character you control to your hand.
Yeah, because they have a lot of enter play effects.
Exactly. That's a lot of tempo that I can gain.
All right, on to the Night's Watch, the only faction that neither Eric or I have ever played. However, Bryn has played it once, so I know very little, if not nothing, about it. All right, we got Yoren. This is a 6-cost character. I should read that one, not the official version. Sword and an eye, 3. So notably, only 3 strength for a 6-cost character, so the effect better be good. It's a Wandering Crow. After he enters play, choose an opponent. That player must choose a standing character they control with a printing cost of 5 or lower, and you take control of that. You mind slave them until it leaves play.
That's terrifying.
So this one is after it enters play, choose a character with printing cost of 5 or lower, take control. Standing. So this one is choose an opponent, and that player chooses. So it doesn't just like you don't get to just like take something away from them. They give you a character of their choice that fits the bill.
Yes. Which, I mean, you can still play around. And honestly, 6 gold for a 3-power character that's missing an icon is,
It seems a lot, but we also don't know. I don't know what like the economy is like for the Night's Watch.
This one's also very easy to control around just by having other characters that are not your 5-cost character.
Yes, yeah. But it is like, as I was telling Eric before we did this, and I said briefly at the start of the video, this is cool to do from the perspective of players who don't know too much, because we can kind of like see why things might have been changed. We can kind of guesstimate on that.
Yeah.
We got Kalidas, which was a card I don't have. It's a Steward, 4-cost, 3 strength. Kneel Kalidas or a Raven card to move 1 gold from an opponent's gold pool to your own, limit twice per round. That's fun. So this one is just move a gold from an opponent's gold pool to your own. limit once per phase. So it seems like a very powerful effect to just steal a gold every phase.
Every phase.
Yeah. What I do like about this is that it kind of fits with like what they did with the Raiders, where now it fits into a specific deck archetype.
Yeah.
While being a bit more balanced. The Ravens.
Also, I'm going to enjoy screaming, "The birds took my money."
Yes. You know what? I'll build this deck once we start building our own decks again. All right, we got Halder. Halder is a 3-cost, crown, 2 strength, Night Watch, builder. No attachments except weapon, and he's holding a weapon in the art. It makes sense.
Yeah, he clearly needs a new one, because that's a dented-ass sword.
Yeah, and he's like literally gripping it, so.
Yeah.
Kneel X Night Watch locations and their attachments to choose a Night Watch character. Until the end of the phase, that character gets plus X strength, limit twice per phase. That's a cool ability. So this one is same no attachment. Kneel a Night Watch location. Choose a character. Until the end of phase, that character gets plus 1 strength.
But no limit?
No limit, but you only get to kneel 1 card. So what this basically is you like tap a card to give plus 1. This now allows you to be a bit spicier with it, which I think opens the card up and makes it a bit more powerful.
I agree.
Yeah, which is cool. And once again, kind of fits with what I'm noticing with a lot of these redesigns, where it's like trying to give it a home that like a home, right?
Well, and I personally think too that with the previous version of that card, 3 gold for 1 icon character with 2 strength with no attachments except weapon is not the strongest character.
Yeah, I mean like the plus 1 strength of somebody, I think it's just like probably outpaced, right?
Yeah.
One thing as well is what I do know while sorting through my collection of cards is that Night's Watch has a lot of locations and attachments, and I'm pretty sure builders would care about locations. So it's kind of like in the deck's idea. I like that change.
Yeah.
With who have never played the card, it seems like, one thing I love about Game of Thrones is that when I look at cards, it gives me ideas for decks, right? That's my favorite thing about this game, where I look at a card and it goes, I want to do something with that. And I think this new version does that, right? You're like, ooh, how big can I do this?
How many locations can I fit into my deck while having this character without negatively impacting the
and
face?
Attachments too. And also then because it's attachments, right? So even if there's weapons on this guy, right?
Yeah.
You can just he can double swing his weapon. He's he uses his rusty sword as a club.
Or he finally puts it down and gets a real sword.
Yes. All right. We have 3-fingered Hobbs. This is a 2-cost eyeball character. 1 strength steward, no attachment except weapon. Reaction: after you check reserve, if your hand size is lower than your reserve value, draw 1 card. That's a cool effect.
Yes.
Draw 2 cards instead if your hand size is at least 5 lower than your reserve value. And then this guy, the change is just if it's lower, it's draw 2 cards. So obviously it's weaker, but probably for the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think just now him being just draw a card is already a good effect, and drawing 2 when you're 5 under is better, right? Because it gives you something to strive towards, and gives you kind of more of a focus for your deck as opposed to this official version, which is just value engine.
Yeah. Also, he should be 6-fingered Hob.
Is that how many he has?
Yeah, because if you don't count thumbs as fingers,
I do.
he's got well then he's 7-fingered Hob. 8? I'm not good at math, apparently.
All right.
Wow, there's been a lot of... Okay, not a huge amount, but there were, some changes to the Night's Watch. Yeah, they got a lot of rebalancing.
Yeah.
Okay, they got 1 more than the Martells. Never mind.
All right, we have the Abandoned Stronghold. This is a 2-cost Stronghold, the North location action. Kneel Abandoned Stronghold to choose a defending character. Until the end of the challenge, that character gets plus X strength, where X is the number of builder characters you control.
This explains a lot why they fixed that other character, because this would always be better value to play with that builder that we saw if it's only 1 strength for a location.
So this is kneel to choose a defending character. Until the end of the phase, the character gets plus X strength, where X is the number of builder characters you control.
Yeah.
So this one is until the end of the challenge. Till the end of the challenge. All right, let's do this again. So kneel Abandoned Stronghold to choose a defending character. Kneel Abandoned Stronghold to choose a defending character. Until the end of the challenge, that character gets plus X strength, where X is the number of builder characters you control. Did I read the exact thing out loud?
You did.
Oh, okay. Very small change. No longer, it's now unique.
There we go.
Very small change, but it seems like a very important one.
Very huge.
Because this could just give plus. If you have plus 3, these cards can represent plus 9, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assuming you only have 3 builders.
Yeah, if you have a bunch of builders, this can go really high. Yeah, so I think that's fair. That's a good change.
That's disgusting. Yeah.
It does seem like I mean, that's kind of also what my brain did, right? It's like, oh yeah, no, this is definitely unique. All right, Bound for the Wall. This is a 2-cost event. Reaction. After you win a challenge as the attacking player, discard the top 2 cards of the losing opponent's deck. You may put an eligible character of that player's choice from their discard pile into play under your control, max 1 per challenge. So after you win a challenge as the attacking player, reveal the top 5 cards of the losing opponent's deck. That's the official version. You may put a character revealed this way into play under your control, place the other revealed cards on the bottom of that player's deck in a random order. So this, I think, actually seems both stronger and weaker.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel this is a more balanced effect.
Yeah.
It's less
That's the
cards.
word. Balanced. Yeah.
Yes. I think that it harms the opponent regardless of whether or not you reveal a character because it's a discard effect.
Yeah.
But it's not 5 cards, character of your choice.
Yeah, because like for example, in the like you 5 cards. Imagine they hit like like a Tywin Lannister and they haven't played it yet. This now they're probably going to give you Chumpy McJoe, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, that's cool. I'll get Chumpy McJoe, but like now it's like their entire discard pile. Yeah, my cat's screaming.
Yeah.
Russ, you doing okay?
This also controls more when you would play it as well. Like, I would, if I was the Night's Watch, want to do some sort of kill effect to get rid of a duplicate.
Yeah. And
then immediately try to play into that with this.
Yeah.
But it means if you're doing a lot of killing, this card gets a lot less powerful.
Yeah. All right, we got Wyman Manderley. We're into the Starks now. 6-cost character, eyeball and a crown, 5 strength. Action, kill a standing character you control. Reaction, after character you control is sacrificed or killed, stand Wyman Manderley and draw a card. Limit once per phase. The other one is also sacrifice a character. So, that's the complete opposite. Kill a standing character is a different kind of like wording than sacrifice a standing character. Mm-hmm. So sacrifice a character comes in from only a character you control, right? So you can still only sacrifice a character you control.
Yeah.
And then, after a character you control is sacrificed or killed, stand him and draw a card, limit 3 times per round. So, kind of very similar, but the sacrifice first kill. Mm-hmm. I haven't played enough Starks, and you've played a little bit. The difference between sacrifice and kill on cards might be a thing.
Might be.
Right?
I do think the limit once per phase is interesting. I will say as the Starks, I didn't understand how to have enough characters to effectively have a sacrifice deck.
Oh my god, Russ is just gonna come in here and just make this video all about you. You're on right where the cards are, too.
Oh, he's coming in.
Oh my god, yeah. You can come in my arms. How about that? There you go.
I feel that this effect is interesting in terms of the limit once per phase versus 3 times per round, because...
I imagine that's pretty similar, right? Like, that's gotta be pretty similar. But it does kind of feel a bit more elegant than limit 3 times per round.
Yeah, and it's also like, how many characters can you afford to sacrifice? Can you afford to sacrifice a character every phase? Because I don't know. I wasn't feeling that.
Maybe, Russ, maybe, but probably not. Who knows?
Look at this baby.
Yeah. All right, continuing into the Starks. This is the official one. We have Mira. Russ, you've ruined my game. I'm off my flow. Mira Reed is a 2-cost Shadows character with a Shadow of 2 and Stealth. Sword and an eyeball, strength of 1. Forced reaction, after a winter plot card is revealed, return Mira Reed to the Shadows. Which is actually so much different from this right now, which is just after a Stark character you control is sacrificed, return Mira Reed to the Shadows. So this now opens up Winter Synergy, which is already really cool. Mm-hmm. In reaction, after Mira Reed comes out of the Shadows, choose a character until in the phase, treat it as its printed text box is blank except for traits. That seems to be the exact same.
Yeah.
I like that change.
I do too.
Makes it a bit more interesting than just a Stark sacrifice character, right?
Well, and as you said about degeneracy, like I did not play a huge Stark sacrifice deck, but I could see this card becoming aggressive in a circumstance like that. You could potentially eliminate someone's entire character traits on their board state. And is that fun? I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so. Like, one thing I do like about this game... No, my Super Mario Galaxy... is that sometimes the cards can be really tough. Mm-hmm. But they have to... For cards to be really, like, oppressive, they also have to kind of be fair in a way as well. All right, Bear Island Scout. This is all right. 2 cost, Sword Crown, 1 Strength, House Mormont. Reaction: after you marshal Bear Island Scout, if each character you control has the Stark affiliation, search top 10 cards of your deck for a House Mormont card, reveal it and add to your hand, and shuffle your deck. Okay, so this one's just it going from this, so it's top 10, and this one was search your deck. So just a bit less powerful.
Much better.
A bit, it might even be understanding it too. 10 versus 50 is a big difference.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, I mean, like, in theory, you're probably going to hit the one you want, right? Because your deck is probably built around it. But this means that now, like, it kind of, like, kills if you're, like, playing, like, a one-of, or, like, also can kind of just bring it down. Because a 2 cost, find a card that you want to play, can be really powerful as well.
Yeah.
All right. Skagos. Never heard of it. All right, so Skagos is a Shadows location. Shadow 1, 2 cost. Action: kneel and return Skagos to Shadows and sacrifice a standing Stark card, sorry. Search your deck for a card with the same title as the sacrifice card and put it to play knelt. Shuffle your deck. Kneel Skagos and sacrifice a standing Stark card and search your deck for a card with the same title as the sacrifice card and put it to play. All right, so just put it to play knelt. I don't know what you would do with this, but it's probably something broken.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking for characters like Bear Island Scout, you could potentially tempo a Bear Island Scout into a Bear Island Scout. And in that case, you're actually gaining a lot of value. Plus, there are some Stark cards, just locations. I believe that any time a Stark character dies, you can get value out of it.
Yeah, and then if they come in knelt, it means you can't get that value immediately.
Exactly.
Your opponent has a whole round to potentially set up for it. Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair.
Yeah, I think that slows down probably some of the aggressive Stark beheadings.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
We got Ward. So 4 cost, unique character with print across 4 or lower terminal. That's the same on this. Take control of attached character. Attached character gains prize 1, prize 2 instead if the attached character's print cost is 3 or higher. This one just as attached character gains the Stark affiliation. So this basically mind control effects are very powerful in this game, and I think this is just kind of basically fixing that.
Oh yeah. Like,
notably, they also don't gain the Stark thing anymore, which means you can't use them for other Stark synergy.
Or like sacrifices or stuff like that.
Yeah, or it's a sacrifice a Stark character. Yeah.
Which honestly, yeah, because like I think about mind control in this game when you have so many big bomb characters that are often, like, they're often deck themed or specific, but like if I took over some of those raid characters you were playing on Lannister, that could be so ugly to throw back at a Lannister.
Yeah. I mean, or even just like, for example, we go back and look at, it was in this one. Like, just like this 3-finger hob, right? Just like, even just this guy, taking control of him. This is now like, I mean, it costs 4, but you also now have like this value engine. Like, you now have more card draw that your opponent paid for, right?
And your opponent doesn't have anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so absolutely.
Once again, I don't know if that's good, but it's just like, I can see why then, like, putting the prized on it means that your opponent is also now getting something back from it.
Hey,
right?
take over a Queen of Thorns, that annoying one that's like no intrigue, and just have a fun game. Like,
that is actually, yeah, that does seem pretty spicy.
Yeah.
All right, I am no one. Choose Arya Stark or a unique character you control with a print cost 3 or lower until the end of the phase. That character loses all faction affiliations and traits, gains insight, and does not kneel when declared as an attacker.
So other than this card, I think being a great excuse to just compliment your friends when they play it.
Yeah.
And remind them that they're not no one. I'm curious to know kind of what's changed.
I think actually it's literally just Arya Stark.
Yeah, choose a character.
But it's also unique character. So it's Arya Stark or a unique character you control with print cost 3 or lower. I love this because it kind of feels like, to me, when you play Lord of the Rings, the card game, and every card cares about Aragorn. Yeah. Attached character gets +1 will. Attack character gets +2 will if that character is Aragorn. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But also just like the unique also makes it, I think, a little bit cooler.
Well, and I also think that this could be like gaining insight, and does not kneel when declared as an attacker. This is not a attachment, which means that there's a whole bunch of armies where this could potentially be really strong. Not kneeling a non-unique army and getting to...
Most armies have higher printed cost than 3, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But even then, like, being able to attack 3 times, like, with a character is very powerful.
Yeah, that's disgusting. And sometimes printed cost 3 characters who are low points might have exactly the value you need.
Yep. All right, we got Daenerys Targaryen. This one is from the Dragons of the East, so I actually don't own this one. But this is an 8 cost character, so it better be good for 8 costs. That's a lot of money. 5 strength, eyeball and crown. Kneel your faction card as an action. So just top 10 cards of your deck for a dragon or a title card and put it into play. Okay, that's really good. Shuffle your deck. At the end of the phase, that card is still in play, not attached to Daenerys Targaryen. Return it to your hand. Cannot be saved. Okay, so the dragons will go back, but everything else will stay. So the other one was search the top cards of your deck for an attachment, reveal it, and add it to your hand. You may put it into play instead if its printed cost is 3 or lower. So this one actually is kind of buffed, but kind of also balanced, right?
Yeah.
I like this version more. Mm-hmm. It seems more in line with what I'm expecting from an 8 cost card.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the fact that it doesn't have that 3 or lower, the fact that it could be a title card, I am game for this change because I would not play that for.
Yeah, and this one actually just has attachment, so making a title also kind of like probably like weakens the pool, but makes it a bit more fair.
Yeah.
But also like you can just grab like a freaking like you can play Drogon.
Like Drogon's next.
And then Drogon like goes to your hand, right? But you still get a 6 cost dragon for an action.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that change.
Yeah.
Seems more exciting.
I also like did the other one specify cannot be saved?
Yes. Nope. Let me see. Did I close it? I already closed it. We'll never know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. Time to move on.
Anyways, I like that better.
Yeah. All right, we got Drogon.
Who's a dragon.
It is a dragon, which works with the card we just showed. So 6 cost character, sword and 6 strength, ambush 6, no attachments. That ambush 6 is spicy.
Yeah.
Reaction. After you win a challenge in which Drogon is attacking, choose a character without attachments controlled by the losing opponent. Until the end of the phase, the character gets -3 strength and is killed if it hits 0. So this one, after you win a challenge in which Drogon is attacking, choose a character controlled by the losing opponent. It's -4 on this one, so -3 in the new version, it looks like.
And is it also without attachments?
Yeah, no attachments.
Okay.
Oh, no, without attachments? No, it's just controlled. So attachments, yeah.
Yeah, because I hate this. This is oppression.
Yeah, you don't like the idea of the dragon eating your Queen of Thorns?
No. And if it's -4 strength instead, there is who is safe? Very few people, only Daenerys.
Like, basically, like, people with, like, high-cost characters.
Or characters with attachments.
Yeah.
But, this combo right here.
That is spicy. That is spicy.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Especially because it goes back to your hand, so you can just keep ambushing.
You can just ambush it again. You're never safe if they have 6 money.
Yeah.
All right, we got... Okay. Hisdar Zolorak. All right, GMM, or what is his name? George R. R. Martin?
George R. R.
I called him GMMM. 6 cost character, 4 strength, so it doesn't die to the new Drogon. Eyeball and a crown. Action, discard a character card from your hand to reduce the cost of the next card you marshal, ambush, or bring out of the shadows this phase by 3. Discard a card from your hand to reduce the cost of the next card you marshal, ambush, or bring out of the shadows this phase by 3. It's limit once per round. This is limit once per phase. That checks out.
Yeah, because otherwise that's... For a 6-point card that is 4 strength, has the king.
Yeah, you're essentially paying a card for 3 money.
Yeah.
But I think it's in the deck that wants to play it, doing it like once per phase can be pretty good because you can marshal something and then also get something out of the shadows as well, like later. Yeah. Or ambush, right? You can ambush Drogon for 3.
Yeah, I much prefer this change because I don't want to deal with multi-Drogon.
One thing I do like about this card, it's with the Daenerys, which I've never played because I don't own it, but using her, especially with the new version, where you can like attack with Drogon, return it to your hand, get another Drogon, but then also discard that Drogon that went back to your hand to help pay for this. Like, she's essentially giving you 3 gold if this guy's also in play.
100%.
That's neat. All right. Quotho. We've played Quotho.
We love Quotho.
So Quotho is a 5 cost character, sword and an eye. Also has 5 strength. If there is a summer plot card revealed, discard 2 Targaryen cards from your hand to put Quotho into play from your hand. So this guy is basically, it's changed to not having the summer requirement. So this guy was just discard 2 Targaryen cards from your hand to put him into play.
Much better.
Once again, it kind of fits with that thing where it's flavorful, right? But it also gives you kind of like a home for the deck beyond just just value.
And it forces you to build your deck around multiple keywords and multiple ideas, which some of these decks was already doing and other decks wasn't, which was a really big power imbalance. Plus, a 5 is huge.
It's big, especially for free, right? Not money, but the cards. All right, we got Womb of the World. This is also from an expansion I do not have. 4-cost location. Essos. Action. Kneel Womb of the World to reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Put an eligible Dothraki character with the lowest printed cost revealed this way into play. Shuffle your deck at the end of the phase. That card is still in play. Return it to hand. That's a very strong effect. A Dothraki deck would love that.
Yeah.
This one is at the end of the so kneel. You may choose a Dothraki character reveal this way and put it to play. Shuffle your deck at the end of the phase. The character is still in play. Return it to your hand.
I much like this one better.
What is the difference?
Lowest printed cost.
Okay, yeah.
Much more balanced, because the Dothraki, like, they do have some big bomb characters that would be absolutely punishing to see in play for free.
And you might get lucky, right? You might just hit like a good one that just comes into play for free.
Yeah.
It's also an action, so you can just like do it at the perfect time. All right, Marine. Everyone loves Marine Land. That's so stupid.
The Marina. That's okay. It's better than my comment about Womb of the World. So this was before we were recording, and I was just like, never been inside a womb. Thinks about what
for
has
a second.
said.
Then I thought I learned something about Eric, but no. All right. Marine. Contested in Marine action. Kneel Marine. It's a 3-cost, by the way. Kneel Marine and discard a card from your hand to place each card in your hand face down under Marine and draw 3 cards. At the end of the phase, if Marine leaves play, discard your hand and return each card you placed under Marine to your hand. What's the card of magic that does this? Is that Lion's Eye Diamond?
Yeah.
It's a strong effect. So kneel Marine to place each card in your hand face down underneath it, draw 3 cards in the phase, or if it leaves play, discard your hand and return each card you placed under Marine to your hand. What's the difference? It looks like there's actually just a trait. A trait was added. Contested isn't on the official one.
I don't know what contested means, but that's interesting.
All right, so with this one, you actually also have to pay a card. You have to discard a card to also do the effect.
Oh, for the new one?
Yeah, for the new one.
Good, because otherwise that's very strong.
Yeah, you're just going to basically just place each card in your hand face down on Marine, then draw 3 cards. So you could do it with like 1 card. With this one now, I think you can still do it with 1 card, you just have to pay the cost. I'm not too sure how that works in this game, like if you actually have to do the thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. But still, a discard is a good price to pay.
I do also like the added of the contested trait, because there probably is maybe some sort of contested synergy that's going to come out with this.
I am so excited to see how they change this card, because I've wanted to play this card in a deck.
I'll tell you, I can actually tell you right now, it has prized, and also that it's not deck limit.
Oh.
Yeah. So this one is a 4-cost, prized 1 terminal. Attached character gains a king trait and gets -4 strength. So with the actual one, no prized, but also it's killed if their strength is 0. And which deck limit 1. So like the kill effects, like targeted kill effects, seem to be pretty uncommon in this game.
Yeah.
Odds are, if you can get a character that you want out, they'll stay out, and your opponent probably has to wipe their whole board to get rid of, right? If you put any sort of practice into this. This is an actual just kill something. It's gone.
Yeah.
The deck limit 1 sucks. You have to find it. This one does make it so that there's like a bit more to it. There's a lot of synergy that actually comes in with other effects. This allows you to then look at this card and be like, all my cards that say a character at printed strength 0 is killed. So you have to kind of like work a little bit more to get there. It balances that, so you can now have 3 copies. It's prize, so they're going to gain power. Flavor will fail that they don't die, right? Like, that is a little bit of a flavor fail. But it is nice to also just, like, basically neuter a character without killing them, right?
This is also interesting because there are decks out there that play heavily, at least as far as I have theory crafted. I've never played one, but where you want to have only 1 king in play. And this allows you
to maybe ruin that?
To put another king in play.
That would be kind of funny. Just ruin their deck by just giving someone else a crown.
Just, you are a king, and you are a king.
That's kind of funny. All right, last Targaryen card. We have Gifts for the Widow. This is an X-cost event. Action, kneel your faction card to search your deck for an attachment with printing cost X or lower and put into play attached to a character you control. Shuffle your deck. Search your deck for an attachment with X or lower and put into play attached to a character you control. Shuffle your deck. So you have to kneel your faction card now. It's a strong effect. Kneel your faction is like basically like for something that you only want a player to be able to do once. I love that as a balance mechanic, by the way. I've always loved that.
This is also very strong.
Yes, it is very strong.
Because in theory, you know your deck. You know what has been out. You can play perfectly into this.
All right, we're going through. We got Mace Tyrell. This is we're in the Martells now. No, Tyrells.
Yes.
His name's on the card. That's his family name. Mace Tyrell's a 7-cost character, 5 strength, eyeball and crown. He's a lord. Reaction: after a unique Tyrell character. I don't know why. Those are the two. Well, because they're both Rells.
And they're both the decks I play.
Yeah. After a unique Tyrell character enters play under your control, pay 1 gold to have the character gain 1 power. Limit once per phase. Is that different? Yeah, so they gain the power. This one, Mace Tyrell, gains the power on the official version. Action: kneel your faction card to remove another Tyrell character you control from the game until the beginning of the next phase. Kneel your faction card to remove another Tyrell character you control from the game until the beginning of the next phase. So basically, it's now putting the power on them.
Yeah.
I like that change.
It also stops you from powering up him.
Yeah.
With his own effect. Yeah. Okay, so this is a dumb thing to say. I love the art on this card.
Yeah.
This is the happiest, most attractive character, I think, in the game. And I love him. And yeah, for 7 gold, I think that this is still a reasonable change. I would still run this.
I mean, yeah, being able to basically phase a character you control out is really good.
Unbelievably
That's a very strong effect. All right, we got the Queen's Retinue. This is a 4-cost shadow character. Shadow value of 4. 4 strength, eyeball, and a crown. Action: put the Queen's Retinue into play from the shadows, then each opponent may draw 2 cards. Is that really all the differences? Shadow value is the same at 4 and 4. Action: put into play from the shadows, then each opponent draws 2 cards. It's not may anymore. They force them to draw it.
Is it the same 2 gold versus 4 gold? Oh, yeah. I'm just asking about the basic shadow rules. Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
I mean, we haven't interacted with shadows much. Yeah, I don't even know how it works. If you put a gun to my head, my brains would be on the wall.
Yeah.
I like how it just forces them to draw it now. Oh, no, this one is May, so they don't have to draw it, so they don't have to discard it to hand size. So the new version is May. The actual version was must.
Once again, I'll note that there are 4 Queen's Retinue and 4 characters for 4 strength.
It is true.
I like that.
1 per. All right. We have ourselves Old Town Informer. This is a 2-cost ally spy character with an eyeball and 2 strength, ambush 2, and bestow 3.
This character's all over the map.
That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
After a character enters play during the challenges phase, draw X cards and discard X cards, where X is the number of gold Old Town Informer has, limit twice per phase.
I also note it's actually when a card enters play, not a character.
Ah, thank you.
No worries.
And that one is just during the challenges phase. So after a card enters play during the challenges phase, draw X cards and discard X cards, where X is the number of gold Old Town Informer has. Limit twice per phase. No limit on this card.
Which is good, because this is a good card.
Yeah, basically just gives you what you want.
Well, and if you think about it too, for 5 gold, what you can do is you can flash this card itself in, and then draw 3 cards, and then discard 3 cards, which
Yeah, it is does it see itself enter?
I think it does.
I'd wager it does. I don't know enough to know 100% for sure to say that, but I'd wager it does.
And since it's not a unique card, you definitely want to put a limit on that. It's rare you're going to be playing with a full 10 gold hand where you're going to want to do that and play events.
Yeah.
But this deck lives and dies on some of its special events, which are now all gone because we don't play the love for the love of.
Oh, was there special events in that one? In Tyrell?
I think some of them were.
I actually don't think there was too many.
Oh, maybe.
I think the Queen of Thorns might be the one that stops people. I think.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
For good reason.
Yeah. All right, we got Unexpected Guile. This is a 2-cost shadow cards. Character with shadow you control only, so you can only attach to characters with shadows. Shadow value of 0, notably shadow value of 1 on this card. So attached character gets +2 strength. This one has insight, so the +2 strengths on the new version. Reaction: after you win a challenge in which attack characters participating, return it to the shadows. So after you win a challenge in which attached characters participating, return it to the shadows. So notably, one thing to remember about this game, it doesn't happen too often in the way we've played, but attachments, unless they have turn mode, go back into your hand if the character leaves play. So this can just kind of keep going.
Yeah.
So when the challenge ends, which attached characters participating in return unexpected guile and attached character to the shadows. So now it just goes to your hand.
Yeah.
Okay. Simple. Seems like a simple change.
Yeah, and I think it's the lack of insight that's one of the big changes as well as the
Insight
cost.
and the cost, yes.
Which is fair, because, I mean, that this would be expensive to bounce just for 2 strength.
Yeah, and insight, that keyword is if they win a challenge, they draw a card. So that's a nice thing to get rid of. Potentially. I don't know why, but I imagine because drawing cards are good in card games. Cards win card games. All Men Are Fools is a zero-cost event. Reaction after you win a challenge by 5 or more strength. Choose up to 5 lady characters. Each of the chosen characters gain 1 power, max once per phase. Max once per challenge on the original version.
I see why that change happens.
Yeah, that's a good change. That's a good change.
Lady decks are... Like, I didn't build a particularly good one, but lady decks are very strong, and this card could be very oppressive.
All right, another one that I do not have. To the Rose Banner, a zero-cost event. Kneel your faction card to remove a Tyrell character you control from the game until the beginning of the next phase. So some more phasing. This is also kind of a redesign. Choose a Tyrell character you control, gain X gold, where X is that character's strength, and sacrifice that character. Could you imagine where you... it's a marshalling action. I thought it was a challenge action. You just, like, pump up a character to have, like, 12 strength. But because it's a marshalling action, that is harder to actually trigger.
Yeah, and also, that other card is just so strong.
Yeah, it is a strong effect.
Well, and especially too because like there are so many of these decks that are like, if you have one dude with his one sword and he's riding in on his one thing, you can get him up to like 15, and then instead you just play everything else in your hand.
Yeah, I like this one because it also kind of just fits with the Mace Tyrell thing, like with the phasing being a mechanic in the Tyrell clan.
Everybody knows in Game of Thrones the Tyrells were able to teleport through doors.
Yeah, I mean, that's just obvious. All right. Flea Bottom. We're on to the neutrals. I want to say we're almost done, but we actually have a lot of cards left to get through still. Yeah. All right, so we got Flea Bottom. This is a 1-cost, bestow 3, challenges action. Kneel Flea Bottom and discard 1 gold from it to put a character with printing cost 3 or lower into play from your discard pile. And then the phase, if that card is still in play, place it on the bottom of your deck. Official version, it's pay 1 gold to kneel it to put a character. So it doesn't have bestow. Mm-hmm. So it's pay 1 gold versus discard 1 gold. So basically you need to pay for this up front, which I do like, right? Because it's not you can't do it forever unless you have cards that synergize with bestow. Otherwise, it seems to be the exact same text.
Yeah, I support that.
I think it's a good change.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially because it's from your discard pile. Yeah. Yeah.
The Iron Bank. 1 cost, bestow 1. During the marshalling phase, you may spend gold on Iron Banks as if it was in your gold pool. And reaction, after you collect income, move X gold to a maximum of 5 from the treasury to the Iron Bank. X is the number of gold on the Iron Bank. It looks like it's just a maximum of 5 is the big difference I can see.
Which is honestly wise. Like, I like this card. I want to play the Iron Bank at some point because I love interest cards. I love cards that generate interest. But having it not have a max 5 could rapidly get out of control.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good card. That's a good change, too.
Yeah.
All right, Great Hall. The card Eric plays a bunch of, but I never play.
Oh, I love this card.
All right, 1 cost. It's unique. It's unique now. It's unique.
Well, that is smart.
So it's still limited. Kneel Great Hall to reduce the cost of the next character. You marshal this phase by 1, by 2 if it's printing cost 6 or higher. That's the same text. Mm-hmm. Just unique.
Which is good. I mean, you never want to have 3 of these out and then just be paying for 6 gold characters for free.
That is very true. I never thought of it like that.
That's what I'm always trying to do.
No, that's very fair. That's very fair. This card looks very different as well from this one, because as you can see, there's no symbols on it on the original.
Oh, weird.
All right, we got the Dornishman's Wife. This is a 1-cost event. It's a song, otherwise known as the best trait in the game. Interrupt. When a new character is killed, if it has a sword icon, gain 2 gold. If it has an eye icon, draw 2 cards. If it has a crown icon, gain 2 power, max 1 per phase. I love the design on this card, because it's basically like, do what they do, except for the sword one. It's kind of hard to like actively kill a character, but it's kind of like the idea of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the official version is choose an opponent. If that player has higher power total than you, gain 2 gold. If the player has more cards in his or her hand than you, gain 1 power. If that player controls more characters than you, draw a card.
This is way better.
Same kind of idea. It's just that, like, this one, I think, it fits into a deck more. This just kind of, like, feels like a thing. This is like, I can take advantage of this potentially.
I also like it because it also feels like a neutral Dornish card. It is a, did you lose, or, did somebody lose, here's a benefit.
All right, Bribery, another card I do not have, but it's an X-cost action event. Choose a Neil character with printing cost X or lower. Then if there's no attachment attached to the character and it has the ally or mercenary trait, you may take control of it. Choose a Neil character with printing cost X or lower. Then if there's no attachment attached to the character and has the ally or mercenary trait, you may... so you just buy the character. And Bribery is choose a Neil character with printing cost X or lower. If that character has the ally or mercenary trait, you may take control of it instead.
So once again, removing the whole concept of having attachments.
Yeah.
Which I think is wise.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, because, like, realistically, like, this card is designed around you're paying 3 gold for a 3-cost character, right? Your opponent put 3 gold into it. Mm-hmm. You are spending 3 gold to get that out of it, right? Mm-hmm. But as soon as there's attachments attached to it, that money value changes. Your opponent now might have put 6 gold into it, and then you're, like, getting a 6 gold thing while also taking control of a character they control.
I also like it because one of the things I will note about this game is that when there is removal, it is very hard to avoid. Mm-hmm. And this card having more limitations means that characters are a little bit stronger if you pay into them, which I support.
The Dragon's Tail 0-cost event. Choose an opponent. You and that player each draw 2 cards. Melee format only, so that is multiplayer. Joust is 2-player, so just that's the change. Yes, Russ, I know you want to come in here and wreck stuff.
That's really good. I actually really support that.
That's a fine change. I like that.
Because otherwise this card is too strong.
Yeah, it is good.
Like, because you could use this to draw 2 cards and punish an opponent into a discard.
Yeah. Because, I mean, also, like, it's an action. You also can kind of... like, realistically probably take advantage of the cards first, depending on when it happens, right? All right, we're into the agendas.
I'm excited for this because I am bad at agenda choices. If anyone has seen me and
the crossing one,
and the crossing,
yeah, that was pretty funny. All right, Kingdom of Shadows. You may include non-loyal characters with a printed shadow keyword from any faction in your deck. While you control no in-faction characters, increase the cost to marshal each of your cards into the shadows by 1. So this was you may include non-loyal characters with a printed shadow keyword from any faction. So that's the same. And then increase the cost of each character you marshal by 1. Reduce the cost of the first character you bring out of the shadows each round by 2.
I like this better. Because I do not like the concept.
Doesn't this have like no downside? Like this has it's all downside, right? There's like
exactly.
Like this has like a little bit of something that makes it a bit more intriguing, right?
That one I would actually call potentially a benefit. Mm-hmm.
I see. No, I'm backed up. This version has, it's all just like it doesn't give you an extra 2 gold each round. It's just like your plus side is that you can now have a deck full of shadows. That is the upside.
Exactly.
This one, it gives you the upside. You have a deck full of shadows, but you also can get 2 extra gold each turn.
Well, and what that means what that card means is that you are playing 3 shadows every phase. That's what you want to do to hit parity. Mm-hmm. And that's crazy. That's a very strong card to just be like, I'm just going to give you a flat... Because you get -2 from the first character, and then the next 2 characters are going to cost 1 extra. That's 3 shadows for no negative.
Yeah, it's true.
And it gives you an unlimited number of non...
And I mean, like, realistically, if you marshal 1 character... because, like, you also aren't marshaling characters from the shadows, right? Like, they come into play from the shadows. So if you don't marshal characters, there's no downside on this one. So, like, the upside on top of that is a little bit more over the top as well.
Actually, very good point.
All right, Sea of Blood. You cannot include neutral events in your deck.
Interesting.
That one does not have that on that, so that's already a difference. Action, discard 1 blood token from Sea of Blood to reduce the cost of the next event you play in this phase by 2. This one seems very different. Reaction, after you win a sword challenge by 5 or more strength, kneel your faction card to place a blood token on Sea of Blood, insert top 10 cards of your deck for an event, reveal it and add it to your hand, shuffle your deck. Okay. And then this one is during sword challenges, reduce the cost of each event you play by 1 for each blood token on Sea of Blood. You cannot play events during Eye or Crown challenges. Reaction. After you win a Smite challenge by 5 or more, kneel a faction card to place a blood token on Sea of Blood, then search your deck for an event. So what the big thing they did is also, once again, this has the top 10 as opposed to your whole deck. And then this one is just like events, but you can still only gain them from sword challenges, but the events can be played whenever. And you have to discard your blood to gain the benefit from your blood. So it just seems to like balance the whole thing out again.
This is a very interesting card. I am very afraid of watching you put this into
a Raider deck.
Yeah.
The Free Folk.
Oh, whoops. Other pile. I was like, how do we still have so many left?
Just this.
Yeah.
You're like, we're fucked. All right, the Free Folk. This is another agenda. Your plot and draw deck can only include neutral cards and non-loyal wildling characters from any faction. Reaction. After you win a challenge in which you control an attacking wildling character, kneel your faction card to raise the claim value on your revealed plot card by 1 until the end of the challenge. You control an attacking wildling in your faction card. Ooh, okay. So your plot deck and draw deck can only include neutral cards. So right off the bat, you can include non-loyal wildlings from other factions, which I think fits it flavorfully.
Much better.
And after kneel your faction card to... Oh, okay, so this one is... It switches the claim of the challenge type. Still requiring you to kneel the thing. I think both are equally strong, I think. Because increasing the claim is a very powerful effect.
Yes.
But however, switching the challenge type, pulling the rug up from someone, is also a powerful effect.
Very strong, but I like this one better because it's the non-loyal wildling.
Yes, I
keyword.
agree. I agree.
Much better.
Yes. And also that shows that in their future design, they might be including that thing more. I don't know how much that exists in the actual game, but potentially in their designs, we're going to see more of that. Which we're going to also know because we have a big... We're not going to go through... Looking at... I'm glad that I split this into multiple videos. Because I was like, Eric and I can do the whole thing. No, we're an hour in. So people watching at home, this is going to be split up by expansion as well. There are going to be some that are much shorter, as you can see this... Like, that's kind of how many cards we have left to go through right now. Yeah. But we also don't need to, like, look at the old versions of the cards. The redesign one is a very big scope of the design. And probably, like, if you want to be going into this format, a good one to purchase. But once again, because these are custom cards, and if you're not playing in, like, official tournaments, you could, like, just buy the expansions to increase your own card pool.
Yeah.
Because, like, while we like a lot of these redesigns, the cards themselves probably still work fine in, like... a for fun, casual tabletop kind of thing, like how Eric and I play. But like I understand why they're doing this for their long-term competitive environment.
As a counterpoint, actually, one thing I'm going to suggest is, at least prior to us getting into the new piles, you may also want to just consider getting the redesigns and playing with them specifically, because I suspect that future cards are going to synergize with them better.
Agreed.
So it might be worth considering.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also did say at the start, too, that while you can print them physically, they all, like, out of, like, a printer, they also have print in place, so you can just cut them out and put them in the sleeves yourself.
Amazing. Yeah, that's great.
So you can even, like, play test with them to see if you want to actually buy them.
Truth.
All right, the wars to come. Your plot deck must be exactly 10 cards. You may include a second copy of up to 2 different cards in your plot deck. While there are 3 or more plot cards in your used pile, your non-war plot cards gain prized 1. Whoa! Your plot deck must be exactly 10 cards. You may include a second copy of up to 2 different cards in your plot deck. So basically, it's like making you kind of go on war. Because prized on a plot card, that always leaves play.
True, but you may include a second copy of up to 2 different cards in your plot deck.
That's on this one, too.
Oh, I know, but there's no downside on that one, right?
Yeah, there's no downside. So that's actually what I ran in the Martell deck, right?
That is too strong.
I mean, all fairness, I didn't use it to do the multiple ones because actually you can put 2. Like, one thing we never do is, unless they say limit 1 per, you're actually allowed 2 copies of 1 card in your plot deck.
Oh yeah, but some of the limit 1 per are so strong, and the idea that
no, I don't think it breaks that. I think the limit 1 per still is in play.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I think it still follows it basically allows you to do it twice as opposed to just once. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought it was saying you can have up to 2 limit 1 cards.
No, that would be spicy.
Doubled, and I was like, you mean most of my deck can be exactly what I want it to be?
I love this card though, like the change to, because like once again, it does the thing where I like in this game where it puts you into an archetype kind of a bit more. It like has a feeling where it fits, and it's also kind of flavorful because it is the wars to come and it is war cards.
Well, and it finally answers an age-old question, which is war. What is it good for?
Yeah, it's for the wars to come.
It's for the wars to come.
All right, Valyrian Steel. Your minimum deck size is 75 cards. Your deck cannot include more than one copy of each attachment by title. That's by title on this one. This one says by of attachment. Action. Kneel your faction card and pay X gold to put an attachment card that cost X into play from your hand. Kneel your faction card, pay X gold to put an attachment that printing cost X into play from your hand. So everything seems to be the same except for the by title, which I don't know is actually matters on this or if it's just reminder text on this. Because this seems like reminder text.
I think it's better because I suspect that there are multiple copies of certain items that have same titles.
And then reaction. After attachment enters play under your control, either draw a card or gain one resource, limit once per phase. After an attachment enters play under your control, either draw a card or gain a gold, limit 3 times per round. Oh, so it's just they cleaned up the limit once per phase again.
Yeah.
I don't know, because like to me, this seems like reminder text. The by title.
No, that's actually
So it
true.
might be the same. But once again, I like the cleanup of limit once per phase versus limit 3 times per round.
Yeah.
That's a lot clunkier.
It's so true.
Okay, on to plot cards. Too big for the screen. That's okay. All you need really to see is Breaking Ties. So this is a 4/7/1.
If you just angle it.
Yeah. You can read it like this, right? Everyone at home? All right, 4/7/1 action. This is a house fray and a scheme. Traits matter a lot on these things, so I'll try to remember to read them. 4/7/1 shuffle a standing loyal character into your deck to choose a non-loyal character location and return it to its owner's hand. Limit X times per round, where X is the number of opponents you have. The official version, these are both also limit one per deck. Sacrifice a loyal character to choose a non-loyal character location and return it to its owner's hand. So shuffle it into your deck. Interesting. Versus sacrifice.
Now, I have an interesting question about this. As an action, can you use this in response to someone trying to kill one of your characters?
No, because that would be a reaction that does that. Okay. Actions need to be at the beginning of an action window, I believe.
Well, I still like this better.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is that I noticed, apart from like the shuffle standing loyal character, it is nicer rather than killing them. It does lose the sacrifice synergy, but it means the card can come back. It's now limit X times per round, where X is the number of opponents you have. So in Joust, it only can do it once. Doing this twice can be pretty spicy in Joust. In Melee, it can do it up to 3 times, which is kind of cool.
I also will say that I also like it's shuffling a loyal standing character into your deck because you might have a second in your hand that you haven't played yet. Whereas if it's a sacrifice, you are potentially eliminating something.
I think sacrifice goes in the discard still.
Oh, right. Yeah,
you're
right.
I could be wrong. I have never sacrificed.
We only kill in this house.
Yeah. Forced March, 4/9/1, reserve of 5, plot deck, limit 1. When revealed, kneel X characters you control with a sword icon, then each opponent must choose and kneel X characters they control with a sword icon if able. Each opponent kneels one character he or she controls with a sword icon, then you may kneel a character to initiate this effect again. So basically you're paying up front, which I think is more fair.
This is one of my favorite plot deck cards, and I love it.
Yeah, it's a good change.
I like this change.
Because now they're marching with their buddies.
Yes.
It's an edict in a war, by the way, so what is it good for? The wars to come.
The wars to come.
All right, we got Littlefinger's Meddling. This is a 4/1/1 with a reserve of 6. Kingdom in a Scheme. No plot deck limit. Reduce the cost of the first event you play each phase by 2. Whoa. Yeah, big change. Once again, this is very consistent kind of going forward. You can kind of guess what it is. Reduce the cost of each event you play by 2. Like, plot cards should be strong, because you only get them for, like, 2 rounds out of the game, probably, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that this is still a very good change.
Well, and especially, too, because, if you're playing in there's a lot of Tyrell cards that are only 2 cost in your event, and you could just spam every single event card you've been holding into your hand, knowing you're going to play this.
Yeah, and I mean, like, realistically, apart from situations like that, how often are you going to need to play, like, 3 events in a phase, right?
Yeah.
You can play them over multiple phases with this as well. So you can still get good value from this version. You just have to, like, it's not so obviously good.
Yeah, and it's not okay, I'm going to build a deck around
because, like,
playing this on my first turn or playing this on my third turn.
Yeah, and if you look at the difference between them, this card basically gives you 6 gold. Assuming you're going to play 2 events, it gives you 8 gold. If you play multiple events, this can give you upwards of 12 gold.
That's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
that is a I'm going to build around that turn 3 bomb.
Yeah.
Play characters, play some attachments, events to win.
Now wait for someone in the comments like, actually, gold does nothing in this game.
Wait for someone
We're just like, no, we don't know anything. All right, we have At the Palace of Sorrows. This is a 5/7/1. Plot deck limit 1. It's an omen, reserve value of 5. Set each character's strength to 3. Other modifiers do not raise or lower their strength. The official version is just set each character's strength to 3, plot deck limit 2. So just a plot deck limit of 1. Yeah, I think that's a fair change.
I like this card.
Yeah, I don't own it, but now I do. Now I do.
And I like the limit. I like that other modifiers do not raise or lower their strength. That's fun.
Also going forward on the channel as well, my plan is that I'm going to be rotating between official and also the GOT DT designs. So it's like for like some games it's gonna be like we're playing the official, and then some games we're playing with this one. Just because now like that's another great thing is that you can kind of just like your game keeps going. Your living card game is back to living again.
I'm so example for LEAU again. I'm so example is what I just said.
But we've been talking for an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So
I'm actually excited is what I am.
Yeah. No, I'm so example, yeah. But I mean, like, that's the thing, right? Like, we have those cards, we can still play with them if we want to.
Yeah, totally. Not just rip them up and cry.
As Eric said, we were going to do earlier. And I was just like, my sphincter tightened. All right, we got Return to the Fields. This is a 4/6/1. Plot limit 1, reserve of 7. When revealed, you may sacrifice up to 3 characters. For each character sacrifice this way, draw a card. 4/6/1. It looks like they added the plot deck limit is the big thing.
Yeah. This is
no. It also this one also gave you gold, so now it doesn't give you gold anymore.
Yeah, I was about to say this is a good card.
Yeah.
That is too good.
Man, it does seem like in the decks that can really take advantage of it, that seems like a good effect.
Like all those annoying 1 gold generate 1 gold characters. You could get a lot of value out of them for this.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think a card is still fair, because realistically, you're not going to be playing this until you have a board, which in realistically, you also have another economy set up, right? So the cards are probably more valuable than the gold. We played this card, right?
Yes, we have.
The Annals of Castle Black.
Which I think we said then, too.
It's a legacy 4/4/1, 7 reserve value. Twice per phase, each player may play an event in their discard piles if it was in their hand. Force reaction after event is placed in a discard pile, remove it from the game. Each player may play events in their discard piles if they were in their hand. So just twice per phase versus, I think, just like, once again, putting a cap on things.
And does it have the forced reaction in that?
Yeah, same thing.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I think just putting a limit on things just smooths out all future design issues.
Agreed.
Right? Yeah.
Well, especially because, like, again, let's combo this with that annoying little finger card where you're like, hey, I blew literally every single event card I had in my hand.
And now you can play it again, yeah.
And here's my second turn, and now I'm actually paying money for them on the value I got on the first turn.
Yeah, that is a good point. All right, the King of the North, 5/2/1, plot deck limit 1. It's a kingdom card, reserve value of 6. Players cannot trigger abilities on characters, locations, or attachments unless those cards have the king or queen trait. So while a player does not control a king, he or she may not trigger abilities on characters, locations, attachments. So it looks like they, okay. No, this actually is a bit more oppressive even.
I like
it has the same kind of thing, but it basically just limits you to only being able to activate with kings or queens, not if you have a king.
Yeah, and again, I also like it better than this one because this one you build the deck around having a king and then you put him into play, and if you don't have the king, it sucks. This one a little bit better.
Yeah, and this one also, like, it does nothing if your opponent has a king.
Yes.
Right, and this one they can still use their king because, or your queen. Yeah, no, I think that's a good change a little bit.
This is less of a trap card if your opponent beats you knowing you're going to play it.
Yeah. And our last card, Trade Routes. It's a kingdom in a suburb, reserve of 6, 2/2/1. Reveal, choose a player, gain 1 gold for each location that players control. Okay, yeah, so it's for each one, and the official one, it's for you and your opponent. So this is a lot less gold. I think this one is, like, probably worse, right? Like, this one's probably a big value down, right?
Absolutely.
But it's probably better that way.
There's also the decks that want to play with Summer are already big gold decks. So that card, I think, is too much value.
It is a lot of gold. Like, there's a lot of gold there.
could be a
but yeah,
lot
I
of
think this
gold.
one is. I think it's probably. I don't know if it's still playable. This becomes a lot less appealing for me because I don't want my economy to rely on my opponent's deck. But what this card did do in its actual official printing was basically all those cards that say make 1 gold now make 2 gold for that turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, I think this one was a hard one to balance, and I think they might have gone too far in the other direction, but I don't know yet.
But yeah, I actually don't know. I don't know. But I mean, I think the thing is, like, a card like this probably can still have a home, right? I just don't know what it is because it's obviously not. Like, it's once again, like you probably could still play it. I don't know. But it's a Kingdom and a Summer card. There's probably a place for it that I am not aware of.
Once again, in the comments, inform us of how much gold doesn't matter.
But yeah, so huge thank you to GOT, the GOT and the DT from Game of Thrones cards, because I should have said this up front of the video. They sent me these cards, which was very kind of them, and I'm very excited to play with them. But we also have a bunch of other cards to be talking about. Hopefully, if you did not know about this, you found it helpful, and hopefully, if you know a lot about Game of Thrones, we weren't too off base. I feel like you and I have leveled up our Game of Thrones knowledge just by doing this, though, which is super exciting.
And I would say, actually, if it turns out that we have done a really bad job, and you comment in the sections, maybe we'd even do a response video at some point.
Yeah,
talking
definitely.
about those comments, maybe trying to do some builds around them.
Yeah, definitely. All right, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one, and as always, GG's.